She buried me like it was a time capsule. All of a sudden, she was putting shit of mine in the casket.
Yeah.
And your father's going to me, Matt, this is so cool. This is so cool. He's like, it's like I'm in, like, you know, like one of those moving pods? He's like, I got everything but a TV in here, he's telling me. Who is that to you?
My dad.
Okay. Know that he's here. And this is actually a really tough reading to do, because when I'm connecting with him, he was jumping up and down and saying to me, Matt, I wasn't supposed to die like this. I wasn't supposed to die like this. And what's so tough is, I'm going to be completely honest with you, when I'm connecting with this man, he tells me that he had problems in multiple parts of his body here in the physical world. But he also tells me that there were things that he was keeping secret, and there were things that he was not telling you and telling the family about his health here in this world.
Yes.
Because he's bringing that up. And also, hold on, he keeps telling me a name. Who the hell's Bob or Robert?
A dear friend of his.
Okay. Because he's telling me, Matt, Bob didn't know, even Bob didn't know, and he's telling me about how close they were here in the physical world. That's pretty cool, isn't it? See, the thing is that your loved ones, when they pass on, they still watch over friends that are here in the physical world, and then one day those friends, just like over here, transition on, and we still stay connected. He says to me when I'm connecting with him this, he says, Matt, he says, my daughter is feeling so upset because he tells me that you trusted him with doctors and nurses and different people that were supposed to help him. And more importantly, he talks about being rushed to the hospital or going to the hospital here in this world, and he was supposed to come home.
Yeah.
Because he keeps saying to me, Matt, I was supposed to come home. I was supposed to come home. And then all of a sudden, you were having conversations with him. I know what happened. He just told me. He tells me he got sick in the hospital.
Yeah.
Like he went in for one thing. I don't know if it was an infection or what he went in for, but he's showing me there was an issue that was going on with his blood when I'm connecting with him. And then all of a sudden, he keeps telling me he got a double illness and got sick in the hospital, and it's like it was all over. Yeah. Your dad said to me, Matt, you need to tell my daughter that, first of all, I am so sorry for everything that had happened. Because he shows me that you went from having a normal conversation with your dad to, next thing you know, hearing that he's on life support and that there was nothing that you could do to save him. He says, my daughter has never felt so helpless in all of her life. And know that what your dad says to me is this. He said, Matt, the one thing that I need to let my daughter know is that I fought and I fought and I fought. But when he was hit with that other illness here in the physical world, he talks about it going to his lungs here in the physical. He says, and there was no way that I was going to be able to survive this. So know that one of the things that he tells me is this. Your dad said to me, Matt, she is suffering way too hard, and she's been suffering way too long with all of this. He tells me that every single day you keep going over his passing. You're like, oh my God, what if I got him to the doctor sooner? What if we did this? What if we did that? Your dad said to me, Matt, there was a lot that I was hiding. There was a lot that was going on in my body. So by the time that he got to the hospital, right, he shows me his body was very weak, and there was so much that was happening, and he says to me, please let her know there was no possible way that she was going to be able to fix everything for me. But the one thing that he wants to let you know is this. He says, Matt, I got to see so many amazing moments of her life. He says, and that's what I'm thinking about on the other side. He also tells me about the fact that when you laid him to rest, things got a little bit chaotic when I'm connecting. He tells me about the way you didn't like the way he was laid to rest, and you didn't like his wake.
Yeah, it was awful. Lack of better words, family drama was not the way we wanted it to happen.
He talks about it, and then he's saying to me, Matt, everybody was arguing over the way that I looked, over my casket, over my flowers, over my this, over my that. He goes, Matt, it was like I was on The Real Housewives, he tells me. He says, there was so much drama. He goes, I didn't know what the hell to make of it. And your father's like, that's the last thing I wanted to see was everybody fighting. He says, over this. He says, but he's telling me one thing. He says, Matt, it's not because they were really mad at one another. Everybody was just upset over the situation and what happens with me. He says, and I didn't mean to cause all of this. So I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to like me for, but don't write a bad review because it's coming from your father, okay?
Okay.
Your father tells me that you're very disappointed in your family in terms of some people who were there, some people who were not there, what happened at his wake, what happened at his services, but your father says to me, Matt, please tell my daughter to let it go. Because at the end of the day, you're holding on to grudges because you feel like you need to protect your dad and be strong for your dad. But your dad says to me, Matt, at the end of the day, I know all of this. Because you say in your head, oh my God, if my dad was alive and he saw what was going on, he'd be so upset with this one and that one and the other one. And your father just said to me this, he says, Matt, please tell her it's okay to let it go. Please tell her it's okay to release all of that. Because at the end of the day, I know what happened. And that's what he's bringing up. But he does want to thank you, by the way, for putting things in his casket with him here in this world. He tells me, you don't understand that. He goes, she buried me like it was a time capsule. All of a sudden, she was putting shit of mine in the casket.
Yeah.
And your father's going to me, Matt, this is so cool. This is so cool. He's like, it's like I'm in, like, you know, like one of those moving pods? He's like, I got everything but a TV in here, he's telling me. So no, it's his way of bringing that through. But I'm gonna be very honest with you. When I'm connecting with your father, he's being very hard on me. He's going to me, Matt, tell my daughter I didn't do sick. I was not the person that was gonna lay in bed. I was not the person that was gonna go in for surgeries, operations, or things like that. He says, so please let her know that it's okay to enjoy life. Please let her know that it's okay to enjoy every day and know that I'm there and with her. And he also says to me, keeps whispering in my ear, tell her, good luck on the trip, good luck on the trip.
We have one in July. Yeah.
Perfect. So no, it's his way of acknowledging that when you go on that trip, you are not going alone. Your father is right there with you. He says, enjoy every single moment. It's his way of letting you know that he's not missing out on anything that you go through in life. Letting you know that he wants to let you know that your sadness ends today. He says, please let her know to enjoy every moment. I am there and with her. He says, and don't think twice about not getting to say goodbye, because that's what you're holding on to.